Great day, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Rhonda Y. Williams here with your pre-coffee with Rhonda Show espresso shot. So today we're diving into the intriguing world of negativity bias. It's a fascinating psychological phenomenon where our minds tend to give more weight to the negative information and experiences, often overshadowing the positive that exists. So, why does it matter? Why does it matter for you and as a leader? So, because understanding and overcoming negativity bias really can be a game changer. As leaders, we face all kinds of challenges every day. And how we perceive those challenges and how we face them is really the difference. So, if you don't think negativity is impacting your decision making, the way that you build teams, the way that you form relationships, think again. So, I'm going to invite you to choose to reframe and to choose the positive because the negative doesn't serve you. That's your espresso shot, and we're diving deep today on episode 106 of the Coffee with Rhonda show. Let's get ready to lead above the grind. Hello, everyone. Great day. It's great to be here with you for another episode of the Coffee with Rhonda show. We are your cup full of inspiration, revelation, and wit for today's savvy leader. And we are super excited to be here with you today. And as I said, this is episode 106. I can't believe how the time is flying.
Wow.
But before we dive in and get started, we're going to ask you to do a couple of things. You know how this goes. If you are so inclined, we ask you to share this video, like, and don't forget to comment. First of all, when you share it, there is something in the conversation that someone else out there will want to hear. Next, when you comment, your comments power our conversation. If you want to see us go down the rabbit hole, then put a really juicy comment in there and we may follow you down that rabbit hole. So super excited to be here with you today. And if you have not subscribed, you can go to coffeewithrhondashow.com and subscribe on our YouTube channel. With all that being said, my name is Rhonda Y. Williams, and I'm your host for the show. I am a former chief nursing officer, former hospital CEO, and I have had my fair share of stress. I am now what I like to call an arsehole or a recovering stressed out leader because I am over it. I'm done. I believe there's a better way for us to lead from a place of well-being, empathy, and integrity for all. So if you want to learn more about the work that I do in the world, you can visit me at atgleadership.com. So in my cup, if you've got a cup, don't forget to tell us who you are, where you're watching, and what's in your cup. I've got my I Lead Above the Grind cup today. And in my cup, I've got regular coffee with a splash of pumpkin spice creamer. So super excited. So let's introduce our co-host, Marae. Great day to you.
Hello. I'm back. I'm in good shape. This is Mariah, the greatness engineer, all the way from Perth, Australia. You know, I'm all about greatness. I am, making sure women in male-dominated environment can shine and take, step into their power and bring their greatness to be able to be in position of influence. And today I'm excited and I'm drinking ginger tea today. And I hope that we're going to have a great conversation. Really looking forward to this conversation today. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Marae. We missed you last week. So glad that you're
back. Yeah.
Feeling well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So super excited. Let me introduce our special guest for today. Uh, for those of you that have been tuning into the show for quite some time, you may recognize him. We had an incredible show back in 2021 that was fabulous. And if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend that you go back and take a look at that first show, which was episode 66. So we've come a long way since then. And I want to introduce our special guest, Paul Litwack. So with decades of neuroscience research and leadership, from backroom to the boardroom, on 4 different continents, Coach Paul empowers leaders to create more compelling results consistently. He's community minded, and a week after 9/11, he volunteered at Ground Zero. As a board certified master coach and trainer, he designated and led the executive coaching practice of the International Coach Academy in Australia and was featured at TEC, the International Advisory Board for CEOs. I'm super excited. And Paul, his Get Unstuck Now and at Nick's Negativity Now programs were nominated again this year as Best
Whoa.
Business Career Training and Best Virtual Instruction, respectively. Super excited as always, Paul. Welcome back to the coffee table.
It is great to be back, and I am drinking my favorite this morning. Just so you know, it's 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, and this is my 5th coffee.
Wow.
So I'm wired, and this is a cappuccino, and I'm enjoying it in my favorite mug.
Yay, the Coffee with Rhonda Show. Thank you so much, Paul. That is fantastic. It is wonderful. I'm excited to dive into our conversation today. Before we do that, there are some people out here who want to say good morning to us. So Regina is here. Good morning, Regina, tuning in from San Antonio. Delicious coffee in my cup. Good morning, sis. Great to see you. Mom is here. Hey, Mom. Great to see you. She's got large hot chamomile herbal tea with lemon in her cup. Denise, hey, my friend. Great to see you tuning in. Good morning. She's getting her coffee ready and ready for some good truth. Sammy, my dear friend, great to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in from Playa de Carmen, Mexico. And then Marae, Mom said, welcome back. She always visits.
Thank you.
Gone. And then Joe Beth Collier is out there. Hey Joe, great to see you. She said, after I get to a stopping point, I'll be having ice water with lemon and dandelion tea. Very nice. And Christopher is out there. Good morning, Rockin' Rhonda, Magnificent Marae, and Positive Power Paul or Power. That's a tongue twister, Christopher. What are you doing this morning? So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to dive into our conversation today. Don't forget, if you've got questions, comment as always. And then Sammy says she's got a protein shake and just finishing a workout. Probably one of those upside down handstands I saw her doing on Instagram or something. So we're going to start today, as always. Coach Paul, we ask every guest to start with an opening quote for us. And I ask you for your opening quote. And I'm going to play that opening quote right now. And then I'm going to read it for those who are listening later on audio podcast form. And then I'm going to come to you, Coach Paul, and I want to know why this quote. What does it mean? And what's the relevance to today's conversation? So for those of you listening later on audio, the quote says, what you can and must do about negativity, wherever you find it, and what to do when it finds you. Coach Paul, tell us about this quote, and we know that it's about negativity, so that's how it relates to our show today. But why this quote for you? Oh, I think you're on mute. And just so that you all know, we have a little bit of a audio delay with Coach Paul. So hopefully we'll just hang with us. We're going to give him a minute or so, not a minute or so, but a few seconds to respond just to account for that delay. So Coach Paul.
There we go. There we go. It got muted when you were showing the slide. I'm not
Uh-oh.
sure what it is. So let's work with it. But that's all part of what you were saying just now in the quote that I gave you. Negativity is all about where we find it. So my suggestion is don't go looking for it. Because if you're going to go looking for it, you're going to find it. So the tagline is how and what and why you can and must do about negativity wherever you find it. And the second part, what do you do when it finds you? And that's where most of us find ourselves most of the time. Because I can't think of too many people in the world that want to attract negativity. I can't think of too many people in the world that like to attract negativity. But let's face it, myself, yourself, everybody else, we come across it on a regular basis. So what do? I've made it my life work to empower people to make better decisions in the moment. That's what my Get Unstuck Now breakthrough coaching system is all about. There are bumps on the road, and the bumps are not going to go away. So it's not about fixing the bumps. It's about adjusting your shock absorbers. And that's what brings us here today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love that. It's not about fixing the bumps, because I can tell you, there was a time in my life where I was trying to fix those bumps. Right? I was trying to fix every bump. I'm like, why is there a bump? This bump should not exist in my world. Get rid of the bump. Where you're absolutely right. I have since learned that it's me. It's the adjustment needs to be made for me. But I want to ask you a question. Why have you made this your life's work? Like what caused you to want to focus on helping people overcome negativity?
You know what? We all have our life journeys, and I've had my journey of darkness, as I'm sure many of you have as well. And one of the things that I've learned from that, coming on the other side, is that I'm in a position, and I've made it my life work to do so, to help people make better decisions in the moment. And that picture that you put of me in the intro slide for today's session was about me doing this, snapping my finger. And the reason for that is that's how long it takes to make a decision. A snap of a finger. And we get it every single day. Where does that number come from? If the snap of a finger was a full second, and it's not, it's just a fraction of a second. But if it were a full second, there are 86,400 seconds every day. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. And because the snap of the finger is only a fraction of one of those seconds, we've got well over 90,000 opportunities every single day. And in my experience, from leadership experience, from the backroom to the boardroom on 4 continents, as you said, by the way, did you like that intro? My late mother wrote it. One of the key things that I learned in my experiences working in Fortune 100 organizations, in startups, in volunteering in the community, was that everybody, myself included, is faced with that decision in the moment. In fact, my podcast later today on Clubhouse, we're actually celebrating episode 90. You've got 106. Congratulations to you. Today, later today, 5 p.m. Eastern on Clubhouse, today is called It's a Big Deal. Do you attract ideal or ordeal? They're both deals. How cool is that?
I love it. It's very, very, very cool. And so we've got a few folks out here. Good morning from Dallas. Hey, Shani, I'm a first timer to the table with pumpkin spice latte. So glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. And you're like me, I got a little bit of that pumpkin spice creamer in my cup today. So thank you for joining. Mom says, I agree. What do you do when trouble finds you, Coach Paul? And we're going to dive more into that. And Christopher said, and everybody else was to blame for those bumps. Yes, my bumps were never caused by me, right? Why would I cause my own bumps? Someone else put those darn bumps in the road, and they should be ashamed of themselves also for doing that. So Marae, I want to get your voice in here early as we're talking about negativity. Did you put your own bumps in the road, or did someone else put your bumps there?
Oh my God, don't go there. Don't go there. I think we all blame everybody for anything that is happening, especially when it's negative. But what I've learned is that, like everything, you have to get prepared, and those are the kind of thing that we don't actually train ourselves. We don't train our brain to really, look for the positivity when something negative happen. We think that we can just, come in and express whatever comes out of our, the emotional state, and just go after that. But like everything, you need to train. You need to, know that the bombs are gonna be there. You're not gonna avoid them. It's just, how are you going to react? Are you trained to bring positivity when you are surrounded by negativity, and really telling yourself, yes, this is something that comes to me, or I encountered negativity, but I'm going to find the positive aspect of all of this situation. Where is the positivity? And really focusing on that. So I think that's really what I want to add, is that, like everything, like, we train for to have good muscle, good body. We have to train our brain as well to, to face those bombs that are coming from everywhere in anyway. So that's
I just had a visual when you said that, Marae. I have this visual of bumps coming at me from everywhere. Over here, a bump, bump, over there, bump, bump. So, Coach Paul, let's do a bit of level setting, right? So we're talking about negativity. Coach Paul, when you are thinking and working with your clients and leaders about how do you describe negativity? What does it actually mean to you? Because I can tell you that many of the clients that I work with don't see themselves as having this negative thinking that in fact they have. So what is negative? What is negativity to you?
In my keynote for Nick's Negativity Now, I get audiences laughing when I give them my definition. And I've had thousands of people in my audience at a time. Here's my definition of negativity. Tell me if we can work with this, Rhonda. My definition of negativity is somebody who makes the place a much better place to be just by leaving.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
that's original.
I want to talk some more about that. And yes, it is funny, and it's tragically, ironically true. Going back to the bumps, as Marae was talking about a moment ago, one of the key concepts of the bumps, and I said about changing the shock absorbers, but I didn't say how. And I'd like to address that just for a moment. Some people like a sporty ride. Some people like a smoother ride. So when I say adjust the shock absorbers, that means each person will make their own decision in the moment and can change their mind anytime. Remember, we get 86,400 plus opportunities every day to do that. So a topic I know we're going to come to later today, but I just want to put it out on the radar screen, is where does negativity come from, and can we send it back?
I love it. Listen, we're already off to a rocking good start. So Denise says, I like it. Your glass can be really always be half full, or you can be the other person who's looking at what's already missing from your glass, right? Thank you for that, Denise. And Mom said, oh, this show is going to be a trip. Yes, Mom. Yes, it is. You can already tell.
It already is.
I love it. So, but let's dive into that, Coach Paul, because I don't know if people recognize where negativity comes from, and we certainly don't know how the heck to send it back, right? And so let's talk first about where it comes from. But then before we go to how we send it back, I want to talk about why it matters. So first, let's talk about where it comes from, and we'll react to that, and then we'll move into the next portion.
Actually, with your permission, I want to do it in the reverse.
Sure.
What do we do about it? We choose not to engage in it at all. And when I'm talking about negativity, and this is a really important distinction, Rhonda, a couple of concepts. Number one, people are just people. Things are just things. There's no such thing as a negative person. There's no such thing as a positive person. All that there are people and things. So when I'm talking about negativity, I'm not talking about the people and I'm not talking about the things. I'm talking about the energy that is being applied to it. I'll give you an example of that. I don't recall if we did this last time I was on the show a couple of years back, but for those that are new, this is a worthwhile thing because it really brings it home and it directly answers your question. I'm going to use the word no 3 different times, and each time it will be the same word with a completely different meaning. In other words, it's not the thing. It's the energy applied to the thing. So here's an example. Murray and Rhonda, just react when I say the first of the 3 no's and tell me what you think I meant when I said it. Here's the first of the 3 no's. No! What do you think I meant?
Hell no.
Leave me alone, go away.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Comes to mind. That's the first of the 3, and it's the word no with that energy. Here's the same word no with a different energy. You ready? No.
Murray?
Almost a yes.
Well, is there a maybe
Almost
in there?
a yes. Maybe.
There's a
Not
maybe.
sure, no.
So that's very different than the first no. Here's the third no with a different energy again. Tell me what you think I mean this time. Here we go. No. It was
sounds
the same
absurd.
word. It was the same word 3 different times, but the energy was different. So when I'm talking about negativity and where you find it, I'm talking about the energy, not the thing. And later today, Rhonda, I think you have a graphic for my 95-5 strategy. Later, when we look at that, I want to come back to this idea because I'll relate it directly to what we're talking about, because the 95-5 strategy is all about the energy, not the words or the people or the things. So now let's answer the question before. Where does negativity come from? Negativity comes from the influences around us when we were very young. Maybe it's when we were in the crib. Maybe we were crying and somebody didn't come fast enough for the infant. Maybe it was our teachers. Maybe it was maybe it was the police officers. Maybe it was all the people around us growing up did what they thought was best for us at that time, but on their terms, not on ours. And it's been shown conclusively many times that young children below the age of 7 have had many thousands of negative energy concepts thrown at them. Don't do this. Don't go there. Children should be seen, not heard. And how many different things in school do we hear about what's wrong, not what's right? That's where negativity comes from. All of those other influences. And here's the clutch. Those little kids, they grow up anyway. And they become us. That's where negativity comes from.
Wow. That's powerful. And
that's very powerful.
Very powerful. Murray, go ahead.
Yeah, that's very powerful because, at the end of the day, it starts very young and we don't always realize it. And that's what I get from there. Is it becomes part of us without us realizing that we've actually carrying it through. So, wow, powerful.
Yeah.
Can I go out on a limb and take it further?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
please.
you want to know how young one needs to be in order to have these negative energies in us available?
I'm afraid.
I told you I'm going out on a limb. Not everybody prescribes to this, but just so you know, I am board certified as a master coach and trainer in timeline therapy. And timeline therapy is all about what happens on the fourth dimension. That's one dimension outside of our 3D box. What's
Mhm.
on our fourth dimension? Our timeline. Everything that has happened to us in past and everything that is going to happen to us in future happens on our timeline. And my professional Get Unstuck Now coaching happens on the fourth dimension. So you want to know how early this stuff enters into our lives? It might even have been a previous life. Yes, I said that.
All right, Coach Paul. Well, the fourth dimension, I feel like we could do a whole show on on the fourth dimension. But it's absolutely essential for us to understand, and particularly as parents. And then we're going to take this to the workplace as well. The impact that the energy with which we approach situations has on not only you personally, but on everything in your orbit at that time. So I think that's really important. Let's
Right.
look at what Joe has to say. Joe said, I'm a true believer. There's a reason for everything. Staying in the place of negativity creates a toxic workplace environment. And as I've told people I've led, if you are unable to make change to turn that negative into a positive, speak to someone that can or can help you brainstorm a solution for the positive. So, Joe, that's a perfect segue for us because I want to talk about the workplace because most of our audience is a group of leaders or entrepreneurs. And so they are in those leadership roles. And so I always want to bring them content that will help them lead. I want you to react to this, Paul. I'm going to go to Murray first, and then I'm going to come back to Coach Paul. And here comes Miss Roz. Miss Roz Jones is joining the coffee table. Hey, honey, how are you? Great to see you. So I want to share this stat, and then we're going to get everybody to sort of react to this because there's a power and an impact in the workplace. And Joe led us into this perfectly. So this stat talks about stats, and it says it tells a story. So productivity is impacted by negativity, including negative communication and gossip, and can cost the economy an estimated 25 to 300 billion dollars, billions with a B, every year in lost productivity. Employee turnover is at a risk and is increased by 48% when we have those negative work cultures and toxic environments. And listen to this. This one was sort of flooring. A study by Queen's School of Business and the Gallup organization found disengaged workers had 37% higher absenteeism, 49% more accidents, and 60% more errors and defects. This matters. Negativity matters. And I love your description, Coach Paul, of the energy. So I want to get Murray to just and Roz to just react quickly. And Coach Paul, I want to come to you and we're going to talk about this as we move into the next portion of our discussion. So Miss Roz, since you're just joining us, let me get your I don't know if you had a chance to see the slide or have a reaction or even just say good morning to us. We just want to hear your lovely voice. I think you're on mute. Roz has that face. Roz has that oh no face. Can you unmute? Is it working?
Yeah.
There you are.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Yes, negativity does impact productivity, both not only from, and I'm gonna do it from the caregiving side. If, say, for instance, we have the client's family that comes in and they're negative, it feeds over to the family member. Then we have to deal with that negativity. We have to then try to bring them back, to say, hey, it's okay. Life happens, so we have to redirect clients out of that negative vibe or, the things that negatively have been said. And so I do it daily. I have memory care patients. So daily we are redirecting them because of something negative that may happen, and it throws them off.
Yeah.
It throws them off from exercising. It throws them off from being active during the day. So negativity is huge when it comes to the productivity with, with not only with anybody, but I know particularly with me, with caregiving. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you for that, Roz. And that's so true. And you've got a couple of people saying good morning to you. Mom says, hi, Roz. And then Christopher said, the Wizard of Roz. That's amazing. That's fantastic. And then, so Marae, let me get your reaction to those stats. And then we're going to come to Coach Paul and get some of his reaction to those, to that information I shared about the impact of negativity in the workplace.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I knew it has an impact, but I didn't realize, the extent, especially in terms of numbers. It's just staggering to see that, and I think when talking about productivity, the energy that you bring as a leader matters. It matters because that's what's going to bring the right energy to produce, to create the positive value that you need, making sure that people are engaged, making sure that people are positive about the goals and the whatever the vision that you're trying to bring in. And I've seen that a couple of years ago. I was working in a team, and in a matter of 1 week, we had 4 people resigning, and yet the leaders were asking himself what was going on. I mean, I'm losing all those people. Didn't realize that he had to reflect on himself and really understand that the energy that he was bringing was not good. And I remember myself being the 5th person going to him and asking him that I wanted to talk to him. It's like, I don't have time. I said, okay, I'm not going to take, a lot of your time. I'm leaving. And that's when he realized, oh, okay, all right, can we sit down? But it's too late. You didn't bring the right energy in the first place. So it's very, very important that as leader, we understand that the energy that we bring is really important to the people that we lead. And now with the numbers that you've shared, I mean, it's just something that we can't really ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Paul, negativity hits the bottom line. Unfortunately, because I can't pick it up, because I can't measure it on a spreadsheet directly. As a CEO, I may be thinking, who wants to talk? I don't need to talk about negativity. I need to talk about productivity. Well, talking about negativity is talking about productivity, right? We need to do a better job of connecting the dots. So, Coach Paul, what say you about those stats?
A lot of interesting points came out of that. The first one I want to address is one we talked about earlier in the show today, when I told you the very most important thing about negativity is where you find it. Don't go looking for it, because if you go look for it, you're going to find it, and then you have to deal with it. So the idea was not to engage in it. That statistic graph that you just put up a minute ago is valid, it's true, it's relevant, and it's ironic. It's ironic because it could not possibly even have an opportunity to exist unless enough people made a decision in their, how many times do we get every single day? Over 90,000? If enough people every single day used enough of those 90,000 plus opportunities to focus on the bumps instead of on their shock absorbers. And therefore, for a CEO, and I'm an executive coach, I work with a lot of CEOs, it is directly visible, observable, calculatable, measurable, because anytime, any place, anywhere you get to a conversation and anybody brings up something with negative energy, that's part of life. That's fine. It's one of those 90,000 plus opportunities every single day. But one of the key tenets of my Get Unstuck Now Breakthrough coaching system is that getting stuck is normal, for exactly all the reasons we've just said. However, staying stuck is a choice. And I've made it my life work to empower people to make better choices in those 90,000 plus opportunities every single day. I'm proud, shameless plug, my Nix Negativity Now program has been purchased by many organizations worldwide as a communication conduit for all levels of management to the front line to be able to talk to each other in more meaningful ways so as not to engage in the negative energy. Yeah, it's there. Nobody's taken away from that. Those are just the bumps on the road. But one of us earlier, I don't recall who, was talking about glass half full, glass half empty. I want to use that as an example. Anybody who even brings up half full or half empty is wasting time, because it's not about whether the glass is half full or half empty. It looks like a half a glass. What can you do with a half a glass? Do that. Doesn't matter if it's half full or half empty. And how often do people get caught up wasting unbelievable amounts of time on half empty? That's what we're talking about here. That's where those statistics come from, when people allow that to take place. Anybody who's been to my YouTube page recently, in fact, I'll leave it up a little longer now that it's come up in conversation here, my featured video on my YouTube page. And by the way, anybody who wants to find me anywhere in media, my hashtag @GetUnstuckNow will find you in just about any social media that you'd like. But my YouTube page has a featured video when I was invited to be on the anchor desk of the morning show in Chicago of WGN TV. And the reason they asked me to be on the morning show was because their weatherman was such a negative guy when giving the forecast. He was turning off their video audience, and they wanted me on set on the morning show to tell him off. I didn't agree to do that. What I did agree to do is to be there to talk about what it might be. He recognizes himself, he'll know what to do. Any of you who know broadcast television is measured in seconds. And I was given a 3-minute slot to be on the morning show. It lasted 12 minutes. We had such a good time together on the morning show. But it was all about that. And that video is the featured video on my YouTube channel right now.
So interesting. So Coach Paul, the very first thing that came to mind about they invited you on to tell this guy off on air is, okay, let's talk about leadership, because there are many ways for you to manage and coach behavior that is not aligned with who you are as an organization or what your audience needs, right? So that's the first thing. I want to read a couple of thoughts and comments here, though. So Mom said, let's see, Paul, you're correct. I chose to receive the positive versus the negative, but I definitely turned into my mother. Yes, my mother turned into her mother. And Christopher, you are incredibly creative working behind the scenes on the show, but that verbally, that Wizard of Oz comment was priceless. Yes, it was. I love that. He's always so creative. So Jo Beth, I won't read it all, but she says, really, when responsibilities increase, your rights decrease. As a leader, you lose the right to participate in the pity parties. Ooh, let me read that again. As a leader, you lose the right to participate in the pity parties, right? We have the responsibility to talk to people about negativity, ask for ideas. This will teach you as well as other people how that you encounter about how to brainstorm for solutions. Jo, that is amazing. Absolutely love that. Let's do this, folks. Let's take a short break. On the other side of the break, I'm sorry, say that again.
Can I chime in on that one just now?
Absolutely.
Such an important one. What happens when you find yourself in a milieu, in an environment where there's all of that negative energy going around, and especially if it's coming from leadership? One of the things that I coach my breakthrough clients in on day one is on how to work in the real world. The real world may or may not include negative, positive, or neutral energy, but the real world is what you choose to harness. So here's an actual example recently, like a couple of days ago, where somebody was working as a CFO in the cabinet of a Fortune 100 organization. And the CEO of that Fortune 100 organization was hammering them for not coping with all of the things that they needed to get done that were assigned to them. I gave them a strategy and I said, I want you to test this out and tell me how it works. The next time the CEO comes to you and throws something else on your plate, and you're juggling a lot of stuff now, I want you just to look at them and just with a smile on your face, casually, just look at them and say, I would be happy to take that on. Which of those other things that you gave me this morning and yesterday are going to drop so that I can do that now?
Yeah.
They got back to me the very next day and they were laughing and they said, I never believed that it would have such a profound effect. They didn't even remember what they were throwing on my plate when they were giving me more stuff. And when I brought it to them in such a professional way, they had nothing else they could do but to negotiate, to say, I didn't realize you were already doing so many other things. You're right. Let's work together. Let's reassign some. Let's delay some. Let's figure out what to do, but let's do it together. And that was from the very same CEO that was hammering them the day before and the day before that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Makes all the
That's
difference.
The power of my strategies.
Yeah. So, Coach Paul, what you're saying is that me saying, why are you giving me something else? I have too much to do already. That's not the approach.
That's engaging in the negative energy.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back on the other side of the break, I want to ask you to talk us through your 95-5 strategy. So we'll take a short commercial break and then we're going to come back because we're already at wow, time is already flying, as it does every time. But I want to talk about what the heck do we do about this negativity, and we're going to get into that a little bit more on the other side of this.
Leaders today are faced with an exponentially evolving, dynamic workplace, but leadership is not a solo sport. It's critical to know who's on your team and to understand cutting-edge approaches to communication and influence. We invite you to experience the profound rewards of membership in Ascension Leaders, an above-the-grind community wherein today's leaders are empowered and inspired with unprecedented support to create modern magnetic cultures. Modern magnetic cultures, also known as MMCs, are the ideal performance and fulfillment culture prized by successful leaders and their teams. We urge you to carefully consider the edge our members gain from this extraordinary group. Choose to achieve the clarity, velocity, and momentum of a modern Ascension leader.
Fantastic. If you want to learn more about our Ascension Leader group, we have amazing leadership in-depth conversations that really support you as a leader. You can go to ascensionleader.com and learn more about the group. So let's talk, Coach Paul, about what we do with this darn negativity, whether we find it or it finds us, right? And so I'm going to show your slide and then ask you to talk us through this. Okay, Coach Paul.
This is a 95-5 strategy that I developed over decades of research on how we humans make decisions about things. And one of the things that I learned, and consistently 95% of the time, we find ourselves in situations where we find the negative energy, we get sucked in by the negative energy. And that would include all kinds of things like hate and mistrust and all the dis words, dislike, distrust, dismiss. That includes all of the negative stuff on the 95% side. That said, there's still the other 5%. And albeit it's a small amount, that is where you have the enlightenment. That's where you have the love. That's where you have the respect. That's where you have the dignity. That's where you have all the good things. So in the picture, I've drawn it as a happy face and a sad face. Now, something really interesting that I'd like you to notice about this particular graphic is that I drew it like a letter T. The 95% is on the left side, the 5% is on the right side, and in the letter T, they're both shown as equals. Now, we all know that 95% is a hell of a lot bigger than 5%, so they're not equal in any respect, except for the most important one, and that's this. We've talked many times today already that we have over 90,000 opportunities every single day to make decisions about what's going on in our lives and our feelings and perceptions towards that. In every single one of those 90,000 plus opportunities, it is an equal choice on whether we select the 95% side or the 5% side. a couple of rules on how this 95-5 strategy works and why it works so well. Couple of rules. Rule number one, whichever one you choose, that's the one you get in that moment. So if you choose from the 95% side, you get all the crap that comes with it. You choose from the 5% side, you get all the good stuff that comes with that. That's rule number one. Rule number two, 90,000 plus opportunities every single day. You can change your mind in the next moment. 90,000 plus opportunities every single day. Remember, getting stuck is normal. Staying stuck is a choice. And this is all about what do you do about staying where you are. So rule whichever one you choose, that's what you get. Rule number two, you can change your mind in the next moment and as many as you like in your 90,000 plus opportunities every single day. Rule number three, always, 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 always. Did I use the word always enough times? Let's give a couple more. Always, always, always start on the right side. Why is that such an important rule? Well, here's why. Should you select from the 95% side, it's a near zero opportunity to even consider the possibility, the realm of existence, a hint of possibility that there even is this other 5% side, except by chance. On the other hand, when you choose from the 5% side, you've got every single opportunity to look at what's on the 95% side. And Ron, did you remember at the very beginning of our podcast today, I said to you, people are just people, things are just things. The negativity is all about the energy that's applied to it. In other words, from the 5% side, we can look at those people and things as people and things and draw from them in ways that would support us. So always, always, always start on the right-hand side, because from there you can look at the 95% and take what you need from that without all of the energy. What am I saying by all of this? When you use the 95-5 strategy, and you remember I told you many Fortune 100 organizations and groups are hiring me and my Next Negativity Now program to build better communication. They're already using this lingo of 95-5 throughout their organizations because it's already so helpful for them. So rule number one, whichever side you choose, that's what you get. Rule number two, you can change your mind in the next moment. Rule number three, always start on the right-hand side. And here's a rule number four. What happens if you don't choose? Then it goes to your default on what you have been doing in the recent time. So if your habit has been 95% and you don't make a habit to choose differently, then you're going to keep getting 95% unless you choose 5%. So my strategy here is get in the habit with your 90,000 plus opportunities to use more of them every single day. So if it was 0 before, maybe 10 times a day, maybe 100 times a day. Remember, you got 90,000 plus opportunities, and help make that your default. And then when you don't choose in future, that will be your prime way of operating. That's the 95-5 strategy. That's why it works so well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Paul. Absolutely love that. Let me get Roz and Marae to react to that. So Roz, I see you shaking your head.
Can't hear you, Roz.
Go to Mariah.
There's no injuries. I just noticed she has a little redness on her bottom.
We can hear you now, Roz, but we also hear somebody in the background. Let me go to Marae first, Roz, and we'll come back to you.
Well, that's very powerful. And what I like is that with the 90-95-5 method is that we are in control. We have we have the choice, and that's, and we don't always feel like we have that control. And that's why I think it's a very powerful, powerful method to share with people, so that people understand it starts with us, and we are, we have the control, and we have to take this control instead of, letting things happening to us. And that's really what I wanted to add. Wow, very, very powerful. Thanks, Coach Paul, for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marae. I agree. Very, very powerful. Roz, are you able to talk now?
Yes, ma'am. I love that 95-5. I'm going to go ahead and implement it because I didn't know I had those kind of opportunities, and I didn't know I had that type of control over the negative part. because a lot of times when people start saying, "Oh, you got to do this," and I'm going to talk about where I work. I'm not going to call anybody names, or I want to keep the innocent covered, but I'm just saying that we have those opportunities to. Okay, I just want to make sure that that I have the opportunity to do better, because if I hold on to that negativity, then it impacts my coworkers, it impacts my family, and then at the end of the day, I'm worn out because I'm so negative. I am just worn to a frazzle. So those things are a great tool, a great resource for me to use immediately, like in the next few minutes, to make sure that I'm a better person and a better employee. But that's going to help me personally a lot, because I
Mhm.
I do a lot of negativity. But thank you so much, Doctor. I'm gonna call you Dr. Paul, because
That's
you're the good doctor
awesome.
today.
That's awesome, Roz. Thank you. Thank you for that. What I think is really, really powerful, all of that and recognizing that you have a choice is fantastic. I always have to back up a step, Coach Paul, and get people to recognize their negative thoughts, because their negative thoughts feel like a warm, cozy blanket. They've been doing it for so long, they don't realize that the energy that's associated with it is negative. And until they recognize that, they have no opportunity to choose different, right? Because you just do what you do because it's who you are and it's what you do. So getting you to recognize that, oh my gosh, this is negative energy, it's not serving me, is really, really powerful. Okay, I want to do something fun for a second. We're going to do it about face. We're going to do our top two, and give us an opportunity to do something a little bit fun. See if the audience members out there want to share their top two with us as well. So here is my top two question. You can think about it for a second while we go to the intro. And then when we come back, we're all going to share our top two. Okay. So which top two tech gadgets can you absolutely now not live without? Think about that for a minute. Which top two technologies or gadgets or whatever are in your life now that you just can't see yourself doing without? Right. So when we come back from this intro, we are going to talk about our top two tech gadgets. I love technology. I love all my little gadgets. Don't you dare take them away from me. But I'm not going to start and go first. So, Roz, I see you. What are your top two tech gadgets?
My top two tech gadgets, I have a customer service management system called Go High Level. I have
Oh,
gotten rid of everything else, you know, because it allows me to do everything in one place. Post on social media, do my, blogs, everything in one place. So I can't live without it because it saved me so much money, number one. And then number two, what I can't live without is my plug in my car, where I plug up all of my telephone. I have an outlet, so I
yeah.
can't live without that gadget.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Roz. Oh, we may have to talk later about that customer service thing. That's actually kind of cool. I would love to learn more about that. Marae, what are your top two tech gadgets?
So for me, it's my phone because I do almost everything on my phone. There's, my alarm. There's everything, talking to people, taking pictures, posting whatever is necessary, calling people. So I think the phone is definitely one thing that I hang to. I can live without it, but I think it's very important for me. Second one, I actually don't know. Second one, I actually don't know.
Oh my God. Technology is so crazy and it moves so fast. All right. If you think of a second one, let us know. We'll come back. Coach Paul, what are your top two tech gadgets?
I'm showing you now. Let's see if I can get in front of the camera. This is 3 out of my 5 phones.
Oh my God.
I only use one at a time, and the others are used for other things periodically during the day. But as a joke, only one of them is an iPhone. And I got it years ago when Clubhouse was first starting because they didn't allow Android. You had to have an iPhone to get onto Clubhouse. So I went and bought an iPhone. And the joke was they thought that I was on Clubhouse for hours a day, but I wasn't. It's the only app that was running on my iPhone. So people thought I was on it all the time.
Oh my
My other
goodness,
favorite technological gadget is my cappuccino maker.
Mm.
I'm
That's
a
awesome.
professional hobby bartender. I'm a professional hobby bartender, and one of the things I love is, as a mixologist, making up different kinds of coffees, but cappuccino and lattes, those are my favorite.
That is fantastic. Now you have me thinking bigger, because the first one I was thinking, so Sammy's out there. Sammy said, my top 2 tech gadgets are my Apple Watch and multiple charging station that's travel friendly. I was thinking about my Apple Watch too, because you know what? I don't really like to take it off. So I dress up all pretty and put all this nice stuff on. And I don't want to take my Apple Watch off because I'm so connected to it. So my Apple Watch is definitely one of my top tech gadgets for me. The other one, I think I'm going to go a little bit different, in the Audible app. So I love listening to books now. Don't like reading them as much. When I sit down to read a book, I fall asleep. I'm just going to keep it real, people. If I sit down to read a big book, I'm going to go to sleep. But I can listen. I can go on a beautiful walk and listen in my headsets. So I love the Audible app. So let's see who else out there is talking about tech gadgets. Christopher says meditation breathing app and a towel warmer. You have a towel warmer?
Towel warmer?
Now I'm jealous.
Oh, those are wonderful. The towel warmers are wonderful. It will change your life.
Where have I been? I guess I don't know. I guess I need one of those. Lindsay
yeah,
says, LOL, same. Hey, Lindsay, great to see you. My first thought was a coffee maker. Yeah. Coffee makers are awesome, right? Like my little Keurig thing, can't live without that. So, all right, let's get back on track, folks. We're about to wrap up the show. I can't believe time has gone so fast. But first, Christopher made a couple of really great comments. Profoundly true. Always flip the switch in the moment. Never worry about having to be positive. Simply spend at least a few seconds focused on a thought that makes you feel great. And choosing to stay in that wonderful thought at least portion of those 90,000 times a day will all combine to change your map of reality. Yeah, if you don't recognize where you are, I think it's really simple. Think about how you're feeling, because negativity impacts how you feel. If you don't know if you're being negative or not, think about how great you feel all day. And if you say, I don't really feel that great during the day, then you probably got some negative energy going on that needs to be addressed. So we're out of time, folks. I can't believe it. It's gone super fast. What we're going to do is we're going to do our What's in Your Cup segment. So first, let's take our little picture. And then when we come back, we're going to ask each of you, what are you taking away from this conversation? What did we put in your cup today that you're going to go away and think more about in terms of the energy and how you show up in your own life? Because there's a lot of things out there, but there's really only one that you control. And that really is your mindset and your attitude. So let's lift our cups with our picture. Got it. Thank you. And then when we come back, I would love to hear more about what we put in your cup right after this. All right. We do this show for a purpose. It's purpose-filled edutainment, as I like to say. And our goal is to give you something valuable to take away in your life, whether you have the formal title of leader, whether you're a business owner or entrepreneur. Minimally, you are leading yourself in your own life each and every day. And that's why we come back each week. So we hope that we have put something for you to take away in your cup. So let's start with our co-host and ask Marae, what did we put in your cup today?
Oh, definitely the 95-5 method, which is, very empowering and really giving us the choice, the awareness first of, what we have as a choice, and really the control on what we need, we want to do, if we want to get away from this, negativity, and switch to something more positive, which is the 5%, and really start with the 5% instead of starting with the 95%. So very, very powerful. And also the fact that, negativity is about the energy that we bring. It's about the really, making sure that we understand the energy that we bring, especially as leaders, in when we lead people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marae. Roz?
The two things that I'm taking away is that we have a choice. We can be stuck. It's a choice. The other thing that I like is about this show is that everything that we learn, we can implement immediately. Every time we do this show, I've been able to implement something immediately.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, Roz. Really important, because that's really why we're here. So, Coach Paul, what do you hope that people take away from this conversation? And then please do tell us again how we can connect with you on social to learn more about the incredible work that you're doing.
Well, thank you again, Rhonda and Roz and Marae. It's always great to be together. And, again, this is my second time here, and I think we got so much more we're going to do again. This is always fun. I don't recall if I did this last time, but I think it's a powerful metaphor that I'd like to conclude with today, and it's visual that we can all take away. Have I shown you, and I think we have a green screen, so I hope you're able to see this okay here. But what I have is I have two horseshoes and a ring, which is on the horseshoe, and the ring will not come off the horseshoe in any way, shape, or form. What am I suggesting? In life, we have situations where it's just impossible to get things done. Or is it? So if you have the solutions for what you need, use them. And if you don't have the solutions for what you need, find people who do. And I'll land my plane on that one.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Coach Paul. It's always a pleasure having you here. You always leave us with something wonderful. And I'm going to wrap us up with a couple of comments here. Christopher said the towel warmer app. Now I'm all confused. So now I got to go look up the towel warmer app to see what that is. So thank you, Christopher. Mom said, great show as usual. It was good that Paul was back again. Very entertaining as well while sharing his wisdom. And then Lindsay says, in my cup, that we have 90,000 opportunities to shift our mindset and attitude each day. And that reminder that whether it's positive or negative, we will find what we look for. And it's great to join again, Rhonda. Thanks for this topic. You are so welcome. Thank you, Lizzie, for joining. And Christopher says, in his cup, the 95-5 method. Brilliant, Coach Paul. Joe says, thank you for a great show. My takeaway is that negativity is standing room only. I can take a seat while brainstorming solutions, asking for help, all while in the positive. Because, Joe Beth, that is a choice that you get to make. So my last cup, and I'm going to wrap us up with my last drop for today. And my last drop is this. Embrace the positive. Let the negative go. And choose your light to allow your inner strength to grow. It's that inner strength that we gain fortitude, that we gain altitude, that we gain so much, but it cannot shine through if it's got to break through a wall of negativity. That's my last drop for today. So thank you all for joining us so much. It's always incredibly fun to have you all here. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Coffee with Rhonda Show. For my co-host and my guests, stay tuned for just a second. And we're going to go behind the scenes. You all need to find out what happens in the Coffee with Rhonda Show debrief. If you have not found that out yet, I need to let you in on that little secret. But for everyone else, we'll see you next week, same time, same station, on the next episode of the Coffee with Rhonda Show. Until then, everybody, take it.
Bye-bye.